Alright, Ashley, it's time to go. Oh my god! First of all, Resident Evil 4 VR is a blast. In preparation to play this game, I played Resident Evil 4 on the PC last week, and at the end of the campaign, I felt exhausted and defeated. Don't get me wrong, it's an excellent game, but the control scheme has not aged well, and the tank controls were unforgiving and exhausting to use. I'm typically the kind of person who wants to look down every dead end and in every crack to find everything. But in the original Resident Evil 4, with the tank controls, combined with Leon taking up a quarter of the screen, I was less than excited to go out of my way to break a box. So by the final chapter, I decided on holding off on playing Resident Evil 4 VR for a few months. 2 days later, I bought the game, and after the first day of owning it, I put 3.5 hours into it. And here are the things I liked and didn't like. Gameplay. First of all, if Armature Studio brings any more flat screen games to VR, I'm probably going to buy it. They did an excellent job making the 16-year-old game feel like it was made for VR. The movement and comfort options, how the guns and the knives handle, hell, even sorting your stuff in your inventory feels right. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of specifics to comment on what I like, because the beauty of it is that when I'm playing, I'm not thinking about, oh hey, this reload mechanic works really well, because I'm too busy playing and enjoying the game, which is the point, isn't it? I typically avoid ported flat screen games to VR because they always have a certain level of jank in them. Armature Studio did an excellent job bringing Resident Evil 4 to VR, but there are a couple of minor things I wish were done differently. In Resident Evil 4, it's common to find a ladder with a helpful villager on it, and it's an understandable response to push that ladder down. This usually happens during a fast-paced fighting scene, but for some reason, Armature Studio decided to put a cutscene of Leon knocking the ladder down, pulling you out of the action to watch it on a virtual flat screen. I would have preferred just to hit the interact button and see the ladder tip away from me. Or even better, grab a hold of the ladder and push it away. Additionally, during the Del Lago fight, this also happens. I wasn't sure why, but while playing on the most immersive setting, the game would occasionally cut to a virtual screen to show the boat getting turned around. Not every time, just occasionally. For those who get sick easily in VR, this option's necessary, but for us veterans out there, why leave this in? And why only some of the time? Another note about the virtual screen, I felt most VR sickness watching the virtual screen during really shaky scenes. A little counterintuitive, but that's how I felt. Difficulty. Resident Evil 4 flat screen is a reasonably difficult game. I died 62 times during my playthrough last week, probably due to the widely popular tank controls. But in Resident Evil 4 VR, I rarely died. Most of my deaths came from me just wanting to see how they did the death scene, rather than the game being too difficult. I'm not saying that every enemy is easy to kill, or I never got damaged, but dodging is a lot easier. But the biggest influence in why my VR playthrough is so much easier than my flat screen one was the consumables. I don't know if Armature Studio increased the amount of handgun bullets or green herbs in the game, but I had so many that I frequently ran into not having enough space to carry this 8th green herb I found, and I almost killed El Gigante exclusively with an unupgraded handgun. After the fight, I easily gathered many more handgun bullets and was never conserving resources. Maybe this is due to the easier locomotion. The tank controls made every crate a challenge to get to, but in VR, this is very easy and natural to explore and gather every single collectible and consumable possible. Censorship. There has been a lot of talk about the Resident Evil 4 VR censorship that Facebook, Capcom, or Armature instituted on this game. Probably Facebook. Although I don't particularly miss the cringy line Luis made about Ashley.
I see that the president's equipped his daughter with ballistics too.
How rude!
But cutting out the dialogue between Hunnigan and Leon?
You know you're kind of cute without those glasses. Give me your number when I get back.
May I remind you that you're still on duty.
Story of my life.
I felt like that was unnecessary. but maybe this is an example of a slippery slope. Another strange censorship choice was to make your hands disappear anytime they got near Ashley. Ashley's one of the few friendly characters in the game, so you might want to put your hands on her shoulders and tell her very nicely to stop screaming your name, or give her a head pat, or even give her a hug after all the hard times you two have been through. But I guess the fears of players doing pervy things to her character was too much to bear, and Armature Studios had to censor your pervy hands. Oh, but not for you foot lovers out there. Her feet are still fair game. There are other items censored that bother me a little less, like changing her sparkling white underwear to a black void of nothingness, or taking out her last lines where she tries to work some overtime with Leon, only to get turned down. Bottom line, Resident Evil 4 VR is great. If you are a fan of Resident Evil and VR, get it. If you're a fan of Resident Evil but not VR, try it. If you're a fan of VR and single-player games, get it. Thanks for watching.